Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back for another video. In today's video, I want to ask a simple question. Looking at Bitcoin, looking at the crypto markets, maybe even the stock markets, when can we be bullish again? When can we be bullish? I want to give a summary of the last few weeks because there's certain things that are important to understand as to what is going on. And then I want to take a look at the next several weeks and just try to figure out when can we be bullish. And so if this is something that interests you, if you like this subject, please smash up the like button, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment in the comment section, all for the algorithm. But otherwise, let's go ahead and dive right in. So Bitcoin again. All right, we went down to the 30s again, and we are back barely above the 40s. We have been trading in this range since January 24th. We had a deviation above, but went right back down. Right now, we're just hanging in the middle of the range. And you can see there were times that it was resistance, and then really very few times that it acted as support until recently, but lots of resistance up until sometime around March. And then we shot higher, but ever since then, the middle of the range has been holding as support. So what's next? Well, here's the deal. Let me summarize these last few weeks. And so, all right, we had this time where we went above the range, and it unfortunately was a bit of a fake out. It was a false move above, and we went right back down. But here's a date I want to highlight: April 5th of this year. That was a red day, brought us right back to the top of the range. And what happened on April 5th? Well, Fed Governor Lael Brainerd puts, quote, paramount importance on reducing inflation. So this was pretty significant, and the market reacted very strongly, this crypto and stock markets. And so who is Lael Brainerd? Well, she is, I've said this before on my channel, she is the most notoriously dovish of the Fed governors. And so for her to come out with hawkish statements saying we've got to raise rates to deal with inflation, the market had a pretty sharp reaction, a negative reaction to that. And so we fell right through the range. And then on April 6th, we fell below the bull market support band and couldn't hold it as support. That was my hope. But then Lael Brainerd came out with those statements, and the market reacted negatively. And so now here we are again below the bull market support band, and we're treating that as resistance. Ever since she made those statements, that's what's happened. And then last week we had another rally, a rally right above the 20-week simple moving average, the bottom of the bull market support band. Things were looking good, but we got rejected there. I called that top on Thursday. You can check that out on my Discord. It links in the description, but I called the top on Thursday. But what I was expecting was Friday to be an even better day, and that we'd go higher and hit some of these other moving averages, maybe even make it all the way up to the 200-week simple moving average, which I believe, that's at $48,000. I thought that was going to be in play for this week. But here's what happened last week. At the end of last week, last Thursday, the Fed Chair Jerome Powell said half-point hike in view, and he completes hawkish pivot. So another statement by a Fed chair. So another statement by a Fed chair comes, and he introduces this idea that what we're expecting from the May 2nd, May 3rd Fed meetings is another interest rate, 0.25%. But he's saying, and quantitative tightening, that is what the market had priced in at that point. But Fed Chair Powell, he came out and said, it was very clear that inflation, they're still very nervous about inflation. And so a half-point increase, a 50 basis point increase is in play for their May 2nd meeting. And then the market responded again very poorly to that news. Cryptos dumped, stocks dumped. And so we've got this thing going on right now where it's quite simply, we're at their whims, we're at their mercy. What are they going to say? What are, these statements that these Fed chairs are making? They're having an effect on the market. When can we hope that would come to an end? And that's the question that I really think we need to ask ourselves. I'm sorry to say this. I cannot be bullish we could go down into the lower 30s again. I cannot be bullish until we have some kind of a hope that the Fed chairs are not going to drop these bombs on us. So when can we start hoping that? Well, let me share with you something I shared on my Discord, another plug for my Discord. So here we go. What we need is to see a reversal in the CPI. Last April, the CPI numbers for March were 4.2. Or sorry, no, that's what was reported last May. For April was 4.2. That's when the alarm started sounding. That's when they started talking about transitory inflation and all that. They kept on talking about transitory inflation until we got a score of 6.8, and we realized, oh, wait a second. They realized, oh, wait a second. This is a problem. We've got to do something with this. Very much so immediately. The day that 6.8 score came out was the day that Bitcoin peaked at $69,000. And then what happened, people became rightly afraid that the Fed was going to start turning hawkish and start raising rates. And so that is why Bitcoin peaked at $69,000 and didn't go any higher. And so ever since then, 7.0, 7.5, 7.9, 8.5. And here is what we need. We need these CPI numbers to start coming back down before we can have any hope of being bullish. I am 100% convinced on that. And so here's what I was saying on my Discord. Something I'm wondering about the next CPI report. A year ago, it shot up to 4.2, which was, let's go back here. That was the first real, there was a 2.6 for March, but that was the first real kind of scary moment. It's like, oh, wait a second, 4.2, but that was also a 1.6% jump or 1.6 point jump over the previous month. That was not insignificant. And that's when, for some people, the alarms started blaring. But back to my comment here, a year ago, it shot up to 4.2, which was a significant increase over the previous month. And the first time we saw a score higher than 4 in a long time. All right, back to this page here. There isn't a single score from 2012 until today above 4. So that score of 4.2 for April of 2022 was definitely something significant. And all right, for a long time, my assumption is that a CPI score of 8.5 would be an 8.5% increase over the 4.2% increase from a year ago. So here is my hope. I'm going to just be skeptical until it happens, but here's my hope. We might be in for a surprisingly low CPI number next month. Maybe, which is what we need if we want Fed chairs to stop shocking the system with their hawkishness. They will continue to talk in alarmist manners until they see at least a reversal in CPI numbers. But a confirmed trend would be more so what they want to see, or they're going to continue to drop these bombs. So I'll maintain that I think the CPI will peak next month, or the month after that, the May report for April or the June report for May, that one of those will be the peak, and then we'll start moving back down. Until then, I have zero hope for new highs. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings. I have zero hope for new highs in any major crypto. We have to get past the Fed chairs communicating their desire to be more aggressive than anticipated when it comes to getting inflation under control. And so I think the thing that's going to stop them from saying like, oh, we've got to get more aggressive with this is just simply a reversal in these CPI numbers. And so here's another thing that's really important to pay attention to is we can see their calendar. We can see when did Governor Lael Brainerd make that speech? Well, April 5th at 10:05 a.m. And that's when the market reacted. And so a speech from Michelle Bowman, nothing significant happened that time. But whenever you see on the Fed calendar, federalreserve.gov, any kind of discussion or speech on the schedule, be mentally prepared for the markets to react poorly until we see a reversal in those CPI numbers. So discussion, Fed Chair Pro Tempore Jerome H. Powell, discussion Jerome Powell on Thursday. That was the day last week that things, we went up to 42.9 and then within 24 hours, we were under $40,000 again. That was the day. And so we've got to see this stop happening, But I do have hope. I have hope that it will happen fairly soon. And it's just, is it April? Is it the April CPI numbers that are going to be reported in May? Is that the month that we see a reversal. It's possible, especially because, again, you know, we're a 8.5 score. What we have this time that's different is simply just that 1.6% increase from a year ago. That's going to be factored in. So an 8.5 would be an 8.5 increase over the 4.2 increase from the year before. So we're hitting up against a wall here, I think, with these CPI numbers. And so I do have some hope that it's going to reverse. And I also have hope, just looking at the DXY, man. The DXY is rallying. It's going crazy. This is nuts. It just keeps on pumping. I wish there was a cryptocurrency pegged to the DXY. I know you can't see this because I'm in the way, but it's a current score of 101.71. I wondered if 100 would be the peak, and then 101, and maybe that would be the peak, the local peak. But think about this. People are fleeing to the dollar right now. They're fleeing to the dollar because of this fear of interest rates. But they are fleeing to something that they know cannot be permanent. They are fleeing to something that is worth 8.5% less right now than it was a year ago. There's no way they're going to keep their money there. They're going to keep their net worth there. It is a temporary thing. So at some point, yes, we are going to see reversal in this, which is going to bring a lot of confidence back into the market that people are willing to go risk on. I've said this so many times before, this is a better fear-greed index than the fear-greed index. I see the DXY pumping like this, and I see a lot of fear. Okay. But if I see some kind of reversal in this, I'm seeing, you know, more signs of greed, which means that in general, prices are going to go up. That will correlate with price increases. But again, going back to the CPI, we need to see a reversal. We need to see this thing not peaking above 10. If we see a score of 10, oh my goodness, I don't think it's going to happen, but oh my goodness. That's not, I think that's going to do something mentally with the Fed chairs, and I just don't want to see that. But yeah, again, until then, Bitcoin, Ethereum, a whole lot of cryptocurrencies, these things are being suppressed right now. We're at $40,000 right now. The fair value of Bitcoin, I am convinced, is much greater than that. But until we see the Fed chairs stop being hawkish, we are stuck here. And yeah, again, I have hopes. I do have some hopes that it's going to end soon, but not soon as in days, soon as in weeks or months. So you got to be patient. And I think this is a great time to be stacking sats. Those calls for $20,000 Bitcoin, they are unfounded. Aside from some kind of black swan event, it is not going to happen. It's just not. And I've been clear about that. I've been abundantly clear about that. If the market plays out the way that it should, you know, nothing crazy happens. We don't see interest rates or CPI numbers at like 15. All right, if we see CPI numbers at 15, who knows? But if the market plays out the way that I think it will, at least with CPI numbers, I just really think that under $40,000 Bitcoin is a time to stack. And that is what the smart money is doing right now. So do what the smart people are doing, not what the dumb people are doing. Don't panic. We saw Bitcoin have a little fake out today, went into the $38,000 range. I hope you didn't panic sell. That would have been a foolish time to panic sell. Anyway, I'm not going to go into that. I have some more thoughts, but I know that I'm running long. But I hope you have a great day, a great rest of your week. I will most certainly be seeing you in another video. Peace.